Welcome to Parent Coaches Unleashed, the podcast where we dive into the highs, lows, and did that really just happen moment of parenting teens and young adults. We're Carrie and Jessica, parent coaches, mythbusters, and occasional referees in the battle of hormones versus common sense.
If you've ever wondered, is this just happening to me? You're not alone. We're here to help you with real talk, expert advice, and hopefully a few laughs along the way. Need more support? We also offer private coaching, workshops, and speaking engagements because sometimes even parents don't have all the answers.
So continue listening as we tackle this parenting journey together.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Parent Coaches Unleashed. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Jessica. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
I am great. I am good.
Good.
This is a resurfacing conversation for us. So we
Yes.
thought that we would have you all participate and listen to our conversation again that we talk about expectations.
Yeah, so it's interesting because part of what we do and part of where we look for our content comes from what's relevant or trending or what we're seeing repeated on social media platforms. And something that's come up for us recently that we're noticing is a lot of moms in particular, they're expressing their disappointment in their children's reaction to Mother's Day.
Or lack of reaction or
Maybe reaction is
showing
not the
right.
best word.
Lack of
Or acknowledgement.
recognition.
There
Right.
we go.
There we go. Good word. Acknowledgement. Yes.
There goes that menopause brain again, looking for the words that fit. So, yes, recognition, acknowledgement on Mother's Day. And Carrie and I got to talking, and listen, when we first started out in this Mother's Day, I'm not going to speak for Carrie, but I know for myself, I had very high expectations that were not met. I mean, I think maybe my first Mother's Day, I got a hand soap from Lonnie from Avery. So it really was not what I was expecting on my first Mother's Day. And there were some years that followed that kind of pattern of not the best gift giving. Okay. So one year I got, when we were living in New York, I got an automatic car starter.
That's a handy one. Something I
Yes.
know you've been dreaming of.
Well, to be fair, he thought as I'm getting into the car with the kids, it would be great that the car is warmed up. In that part, it was thoughtful. However, it did not work in my model car. So he took it and he put it in his car. Now, I don't know if you want to call this karma or not, but one day as he was driving, his car caught on fire. And we
No.
later came to find out that it was because of the automatic car starter he put in. So
Whoops.
think very carefully about your gifts for your wife in
Yeah.
the early days of motherhood.
Well, let's talk about this. Is it really about the gift, or is it more about the demonstrating how much you care or being thoughtful or something that your kids or your spouse says to you to recognize the day? Like, is it
So,
about the gifts?
okay, so that's a really good point. And I believe that good gift giving demonstrates that someone was thinking about you, that they're listening to you, that they know who you are, that they know what you like. I quickly realized that that was not Lonnie's, let's just say, his love language,
Mm-hmm.
where it was mine. It was, I love giving gifts. I really thought I put time and effort into showing him my appreciation for him by the gifts that I picked out. But I realized that that was me and that was not him. So I had to manage my expectations. And what evolved, what became more important to me were the cards, what he actually said. And we had conversations about it. It didn't just happen. I would I said to him, "Listen, if you're thinking of an idea of what you wanna get me, it's this, I'd like this or that, but really what's more important to me is the cards. Can you please make sure that the kids make me a card for Mother's Day?" And I have to say, whatever, if it's Mother's Day or my birthday, any occasion we give a card, my kids still to this day, that's all I look forward to.
Yeah.
I mean that the cards are beautiful. They're my favorite part of the day.
Yeah. Well,
What about you?
I think you really made a valid point for all of us that we can't expect. I mean, in this lovely fairy tale world, we would love for our spouse and our kids to read our minds and know exactly how we want to be celebrated, whether it's Mother's Day or a birthday or an anniversary, whatever it is. But that's just not how it is. And
It's not
so,
realistic.
no, the longer we spend in that, because I have spent a lot of time in that place, wanting my husband or my kids or my friends, whoever, to read my mind and know exactly what I would like and
Yeah,
how I would like to celebrate. And then realization sets in, and you have to realize that just share your expectation as you did. And you said the cards are most important. You need to share, this is what I would like to do on this specific day.
yes.
And like for this Mother's Day, I was traveling and I was coming back in the evening on Mother's Day. So there's no way I could expect my kids to plan something or know even what to do. So I just said, listen, we're arriving back at this time. I asked Devin to go pick up the dog from the dog sitter, and I asked Ryan to organize picking up takeout. And we were going to meet at our house to have dinner together. Did that work for everybody? It did. Great. Like, and
Right,
it was the best. No,
right.
it wasn't a big, huge, party and someone made reservations and I didn't,
In dinner or anything like that.
no,
Yep.
but it was everyone was more than willing, do their part and show up so we can spend time together, even though it was an hour and a half or 2 hours. It was lovely. And I think that's a good lesson. I could have been upset and be like, well, why do I have to even organize my day? Could Ken have reached out to them and asked them to do the same thing? Yes. But that would require me probably to tell him
To reach out
to
to
reach out to them and to organize this. So that's kind of where I've evolved. I didn't show up like this as a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old mom, even
or
a
as a
50,
new right, it took a
yeah,
while to get
even
there.
a 50-year-old mom.
Right.
As a 50-year-old mom, right, I didn't realize this either. Like, it's probably been in the last couple of years that it's made more sense to me that I just need to express how I would like the celebration to go or what my expectations are. And sometimes I have to coordinate it. But when they do it, and then I'm reminded that it's really just about the time spent together and
Mhm.
not the gift or the food or some fancy party. That is what really means the most, the small little things, and it's the time together.
And I think on our part, it's the conversation too. It's the communication about what your expectations are, like you said, and I love that. They're not mind readers, and just because we do something in a certain way, we can't expect we're not doing it to have it returned to
Right.
us. We're doing it because that's who we are.
Mhm.
That's not who they are. They
No.
need, at least I guess in our case, I'm sure every case, every family is different, but in our situation, we need to be clearer about what it is that we're expecting.
Right. And we all come from different families and we were brought up different ways, and that plays a part in
Yes.
what our expectations are.
Yeah.
So, my parents made a huge deal about my birthday, my brother's
Yeah.
birthday, and Ken's family did not. And our very first fight at the age of 23 was over him not planning anything for my birthday. So this goes way
Right.
back in our relationship.
Did that
And
get better over the years or
it took a long time, but it's still in the place. I mean, he is a lovely gift giver if he knows exactly what I want.
okay,
Like, to just send him out looking for something that I might like, I most likely will be disappointed in what returns, but it's more about he's so happy to do it, and I just have to accept the fact that I need to tell him what I want, or we go shopping together. He's not going to be a mind reader. He's not going to pay attention to the things that I like. He is not a shopper, and that's just
that's
the
okay.
fact. That's
And
just the fact.
that's something you've come to accept, and
Yes,
you've made adjustments to your own expectations.
right. Now,
Yeah,
it's not been easy.
I'm
I will
sure.
share on my 40th birthday.
Okay.
My parents were going to take Ken and I, my brother, and my sister in law on a Mediterranean cruise or sailboat.
Well, that sounds
And
lovely.
it was my 40th birthday. It was more like a family trip, and the timing was on my birthday. So it wasn't
Okay.
exactly like we're throwing this whole big thing because Carrie's turning 40, but it was going to be part of the celebration and they were paying for it all. Well, at the time, Ken and I worked for the same company, and the company was talking about putting themselves out for sale. So Ken, as the CFO, would be responsible for a lot of the upfront work. And so when I went to him to talk about it, he was like, "Oh, no, no, that's not going to be a good time." And I'm like, "What do you mean it's not going to be a good time? It's my 40th birthday." And he's like, "Well, there's a lot of stuff that's going to start at work that I can't be away because of this potential sale that might start around that time." Now, I'm using air quotes because fast forward, it didn't happen at that time.
Okay.
But he
Could you
told
have
me
gone on the trip without him?
for some reason in my 40-year-old brain, that did not surface as an option. And I think I was then being very immature and spiteful. He's saying it's not a good time. I'm not
I get it.
going.
Yep.
If I were to do it all over again, I would be like, "See ya, I'm going."
Okay, good luck with that sale.
Yes, but anyway, I did not do that. I did not go. My parents still went. My brother and sister-in-law went, and I was
So they
bitter.
celebrated your 40th birthday without
Yep.
you.
Or they just celebrated their own vacation that happened to
Okay.
be in May. So, I was upset. I was, probably not very nice. However, it's not like he decided, "Okay, well, we're gonna do something really large instead," because, like, this was that moment where, again, my parents were celebrating and making it large, and that's what I was used to, but now come to my real reality was that's not how my husband had celebrated things. So, he didn't go plan like a big to-do, but what did happen was that my friends showed up in other ways, right? So there was dinners, there were gifts and cards, there were the Facebook messages because I don't believe that we were texting and all that at that point. Now it's taking me back to what even year that was, but anyway, I think it was 2010. But anyway, so
It's not the
I
important.
that is not the important part. I'm testing my memory because now this 56-year-old brain needs to like recall these things. But the point was that I realized when the closest people to me showed up in other ways is what really mattered and not the big, huge celebration. So I think there was some shift in me. And again, I will be honest, I was really disappointed.
Yeah, I get that.
And I was probably not very nice to my husband, but the small things that did happen started to change my view and certainly my expectations of how birthdays would go, how celebrations would go, and what really mattered the most in feeling celebrated.
Yeah. You know, Yes, yes to all of what you're saying. I don't think it only applies to holidays or Hallmark holidays or birthdays. I feel like we had an incident recently. I was away for a couple of nights with Jackson for orientation at his school. We're coming home Friday night. We're getting back at we're due home at 7:30. So as we left, I sent a text on our way. Our ETA is 7:30. In my mind, now, just in my mind, this was not a conversation we had. I'm thinking Cody and Lonnie would have dinner waiting, whatever it was. If they brought in, they would decide to have dinner waiting, and great. Pull up to my house, and 7:15, Lonnie walks outside to greet us, and he's like, "Oh, where'd Cody go?" I said, "What do you mean, where'd Cody go?" And he said, "He must have gotten picked up already." And my face dropped, and "What do you mean? Are you kidding with me? Are you joking?" And he's like, "No." He's looking at me like like, "No, why?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?" And I walk in the house, sure enough, Cody's really not there. There's no dinner, there's nothing planned, and I said, "You didn't take care of dinner?" And he's looking at me like, I I I didn't know I was supposed
I
to.
was probably like, "Did I miss that text? Why?" Yeah. I
Right, and I never gave any indication. I just
assumed.
expected and
Yeah.
assumed he would take care of it on his own. I mean, 7:30 on Friday night. Was his expectation that I would come home and cook? I don't know, but we did not have a conversation about it whatsoever. But also, Cody was getting ready to leave the next day for the summer, and I'm like, "What do you mean he's not here? He doesn't wanna have dinner with us the night before he leaves?" Lonnie said, "No, he's out with his friends." I absolutely felt that I just became I was in a mood because I had a different expectation. So, Cody comes home, and we had ordered in something small or whatever, and he said, "So you guys are just eating now?" And I said, "Yeah, I was kind of expecting you to be home and have dinner with us." Yes, I put a guilt line out there for sure, not my best moment. And he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize." And I said, I know, I didn't express it. It took me a minute to adjust, and Lonnie was like, "A minute? I think it was a little longer than that." I apologized. I said, "I'm sorry, just I had a different expectation in my mind." But
Yeah.
I never expressed the expectation. So, if we're not communicating and expressing what we're thinking, our partners, our kids, they are not mind readers. So let's talk for a second about these moms who are upset that their kids did not acknowledge them in a way that they wanted. I have some questions for these moms. Number one is, how have you shown up for your kids? Now, I know in my house, we've made big deals about birthdays. I've shown my kids that this is what it's like to give, and hoping that they would take that with them to either to their relationships or giving it back to their siblings and their family members. So that's my first question to the moms. What have you shown your kids? Second, what have you told them? Have you told them that this day is important to me? I would really like to see you. If your kids are not at home anymore, can we do a family group chat? Can we do a family FaceTime? Can we do a Zoom? Just to spend a little while together. The third thing, think about where your kids are in that moment. If they're all over the place, what do they have going on in their lives? If you tell them, "I would like to do this on Mother's Day or my birthday," and they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, mom, I can't that day," then that's okay. As we've said before, Carrie and I have discussed this before, it's just an arbitrary Sunday that someone has designated as Mother's Day. Say, "Can you give me another day that we can celebrate, or just to talk to you or see you?" Like I said before, a Zoom call, a FaceTime, a dinner, wherever, depending on where your kids are in their life. I really don't want the day to go unnoticed. And then, take it from there.
Yeah. The other thing too, and I'll throw it out as number 4, it's not really a question, actually, it's more of a suggestion, is as moms, primarily in our households, we have always been the planners And so we have always been the one to set up the traditions, the holidays, the celebrate whatever it is. And this is that one day where maybe the kids haven't been paying attention the entire time because you would take control, excuse me, you would take control of it. So they might not know what to do or right. So this is where the
Or that you're
expectation
expecting
or that
anything.
exactly. Or maybe they just think, that you just want to be left alone for this day. Some moms, that's what they do want. Just, I don't want to have to make food for anybody. I don't want to have to think about plans. Like that
Want to sit and
might
watch
be
TV, or I just want to sit in the quiet, whatever. But again, how do they know?
exactly. So the communication is our responsibility to have, whether it's our spouse, our children, our friends, whoever it is, when you have a need or a desire, or there's something you're expecting or would like, and it is your celebration, you need to communicate your needs to them. So maybe it is, hey kids, I know we usually, go out to brunch on Mother's Day or we see grandma, but today this one I would love for it to just be casual at home. Can you guys coordinate all of that for me? Just you know, and for the moms who have kids all over the place, right now, my kids are both in the same state as I am at this time of year. But I think looking at it, if my kids, were independent and living somewhere else and starting their own lives, like there's another way to look at it. Like, wow, like I really did a great job as a mom
Yes, I love that. Yes.
that they're independent enough to move away and live independently on their own. Now, we miss them terribly, and I believe most of mom's dreams is to have their kids nearby and close by when they start their lives. But for the ones that have them away, there is another way to look at it. And if you are really sad that they're not living by you anymore, you have to tell them. I would appreciate a phone call on this day or coordinate, as Jessica said, the family FaceTime, whatever it is. But there are so many ways to look at this, and we can't expect other people, especially our kids, especially our spouses who can't read our mind, and we've tried. I mean, I've tried for 31 years to get my husband to read my mind, and it's not gonna happen.
There's something else that goes along with that. I've always called it a gotcha moment. Like you spend your time thinking, "Oh, Mother's Day," and it's all in your head. I spend this time thinking about, "Oh, Mother's Day's coming, or my birthday's coming. I wonder what someone's going to do for me. I, I would love it if we went to this restaurant." And again, all thinking. You're thinking this, and then the day comes, and it's almost like you didn't do this, you didn't do that, and it's like a gotcha moment. Like you had all these thoughts in your head, waiting to see what they were going to do. They didn't show up the way you made this whole plan in your head for them to show up. And it's like, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. And the only one that is disappointed is you. So all those thoughts, the lead up, whatever it is, say, "Oh, Mother's Day's coming, my birthday's coming. I would love it if we could do this together. You know what? I don't want to do anything big. Why don't you guys just prepare a meal together and we could all just sit around the table and play?" Whatever it is that you're thinking that you want. If you don't express it, nobody knows that you're thinking. You think you're setting them up for, aha, I got you. But really, you're the one who is left with those feelings of complete disappointment because you didn't share what you wanted to do.
Right. And if you are disappointed and you are feeling sad, they still don't know what to do with those feelings. Like they don't know that, oh, I don't want to repeat this again. So now I know what to do and how to show up for her. They can't read that either. They might know that you're upset, but they don't know then how to fix it or correct it. You still have to communicate what your needs and desires are, and having them feel bad or sad or make them feel guilty like isn't the answer either. And I know a lot of this is just a gut reaction, or we can't control the way we feel in the
Yeah.
moment when we are disappointed,
Yeah.
but back
I
to
mean,
communication.
if you think about it, when it's our kids' birthdays, what do you want to do for your birthday? Since they're little, what type of birthday do you want this year? And you're asking them and you're engaging them and you want them to be a part of their celebration. You're finding out exactly what they want. And if your kids are not asking you the same thing in return, that's your job to tell them, this is what I'm thinking. I would love this. And listen, in a perfect world, would we love for our kids to acknowledge us and say, Mom, Mother's Day's coming. I love you so much. I want to show you how much I appreciate you. What do you want to do? Yeah, in a perfect world, yes. But let's, for our young adult kids, for our little kids, for our husbands, that's not where they're at. So I don't see anything wrong with saying today is a special day for me. This is what I would like to do. And if your kids are not around, as we've said, if they can't be with you, do it for yourself.
Mhm.
You don't need to wait for someone else to say to do it for you. If there's something you want to buy it for yourself. Wrap it up, whatever makes you feel good. I feel like so much of everything we talk about comes back to communication. So if you have those expectations, you need to communicate them.
Bingo. We could we probably could have said this all in about 5 minutes, but we
We
wanted
shared
to
some funny
share, yeah,
anecdotes and,
and we wanted to share that we've been there with you
yes.
before and had those feelings of disappointment or expectations not met. So we hope that these scenarios will be helpful to you out there who are listening.
I would
Yeah.
actually, if we have any young moms listening, I would love to hear their perspective on this.
Yeah. All
So
right. So, to reach out to us, Instagram, Parent Coaches Unleashed, and please send us an email, info@parentcoachesunleashed.com, and go out there and celebrate yourself today, whatever day it is. So, have a good one. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to this episode of Parent Coaches Unleashed with Carrie and Jessica. Together, we can raise the next generation of independent, capable, and compassionate young adults.
we encourage you to send us an email with questions and feedback to info@parentcoachesunleashed.com. Please remember, you are not alone on this parenting journey.